What's up, Anthony? Is the date officially over?
No.
Do you need help?
Is you being held hostage?
No, you.
Yes, I'm a hostage of love.
Oh, God.
But enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Hey everyone,
No.
It's O&A Detox time once again, episode 11.
11.
11-teen.
I used to say that.
11?
11-teen.
No. I want to thank everyone for checking out our previous episode, if you did, because it was almost 4 hours, and I heard it took people quite a few listens to get through it all, which was to be expected. I get that. I do that too, with extra long episodes of podcasts, so...
I am surprised people listen to the whole thing, though.
What?
What? you sounded like insulted.
No, I was swallowing.
Wait, what? You swallowed and that's why you said what?
Yeah.
I said, I'm surprised people listen to the whole thing. And then you went, what?
Well, I hope people did, at the very least.
What do your analytics say?
My analytics? I didn't check them. I meant to. A lot of people probably checked it out because it was one of the highest climbing videos, like the fastest climbing anyway. Like it got to 400 views quicker than any episode before it.
No.
And I think it's because we talked about the Colin Flaherty episode.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Who died, by the way. He died back in January of this year, so...
I mean, champagne bottles are on sale right now.
Oh, that's true. But both people, Ron and Anthony, both had two different reactions to the episode. Ron was notified the next day by Keith saying, "Hey Ron, the snow's really bad out here. If you don't think you could make it in for the episode, that's fine. We understand. If you want to do it over Skype or something, that's fine." Ron took it as, they don't want me there. That's fine. And with his daughter Gail on the Bennington show was joking about having been, quote, kicked out of the alt-right. And after taking like 4 or 5 phone calls in a row of people talking about the episode and being like, "Hey, Ron, you handled it really well." Ron is just like, people love talking about the bad shit, don't they? People love when shit goes wrong. No one ever talks about when things go great.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to talk about the bad ones. Anthony took to Twitter commenting about how sensitive and judgmental Ron was, so none of it took.
Jeez.
Not like we should be surprised by it, having seen him recently.
Yeah, he made that choice.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. He tried, though. Mm-hmm. Ron tried, Opie tried. They all tried. And it's obvious that that's not worth doing. You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Ugh.
Because we're talking about the episodes on XM, and we haven't covered this at all yet, I wanted to catch everyone up to speed. O&A got canceled from WNEW in 2002 when a couple had sex at St. Patrick's Cathedral as part of a contest. They were paid for 2 years as part of a non-compete until they debut on XM satellite radio in October 2004, doing mornings on their own station, High Voltage Channel 202, which would later be renamed The Virus. In December of 2005, Howard Stern left his home of many years, K-Rock, for a new gig on his own station on satellite rival Sirius. In April of 2006, O&A announced that they would be taking over Howard's old time slot on K-Rock from 6 to 9, walk down the block, and do the rest of their show on XM. This deal would last until 2009 when K-Rock switched to a top 40 format, leaving O&A to do the entire show on XM. We start our new journey on June 3rd, 2008. I picked this specific date to start this investigation because it's the day rumors start to swirl that Hillary Clinton is going to announce that she is going to drop out of the election, clearing the way for Barack Obama to be the Democratic candidate to face John McCain in November. The long-standing belief is that Obama becoming president is what kicked off Anthony's spiral into racism. We've already seen examples of Anthony being racist since as early as the music video that got him on the Opie Show in 1994, but a majority of what he's been doing that people would consider racist, ourselves included, has been done with comedic intent. Obama's rise to power pulled the curtain back and exposed Anthony's true racism rooted in hatred and paranoia. But as an aside, this time period is also noticeable for an arc in Anthony's life and the show in general. Anthony's girlfriend of 9 years, Melinda, left him.
One particular night, I had 3 $6,000 bets up on the table. I was completely engrossed in the game, and one of the waitresses came over. The service you get at the high rollers tables is exemplary. The second your drink is a little empty, a Borgata babe comes over. These girls are the epitome of beautiful cocktail waitresses. I was playing, and a waitress came up, and Melinda also walked up to me at the same time. I said to the waitress, "Hold on, you are distractingly attractive. I'd love another drink when you can." Melinda had heard me say shit like this before. She knew the game. She said to me, "Yeah, I'm leaving." I was like, "You have a key to the suite?" She said, "No, I'm leaving. I'm going home, packing my shit, and moving out." I said, hold on. And then to the dealer, I said, "Hit me." It was time to take a card. She thought it was going to be this dramatic conversation, and I just gave her nothing. I gave my hand that needed a card my attention and didn't even acknowledge her. I needed a 7 on one hand. I was doubling down. That was it. She turned and walked away. True to her word, she rented a U-Haul and took her stuff from my house before I ever got back from my weekend in AC. A 9-year relationship ended at the high rollers table at the Borgata.
I mean, I know none of this is surprising at this point.
Like, why does he sound like... It definitely sounds like we're lacking context. It sounds like she was coming up still thinking about something that had happened or they had talked about or argued about recently. This was just the straw to break the camel's back.
I believe it is. And Anthony doesn't give a lot of context in his book.
No.
I had to listen to some radio episodes for extra context. Him and Melinda were going to couples therapy sessions for a while. And Melinda was concerned that Anthony was spending more time and attention on his interests and the show and not as much on her. So yeah, this would clearly be a straw that broke the camel's back situation. And yeah, she had enough and left him. And Anthony doesn't even make an attempt to try to get home or anything. By the time he gets home, everything's gone. She's gone.
Yeah.
Even
if that was a bluff on her part, his reaction, like, well, fine, I actually will leave then.
Yeah.
You know,
he could have saved that. But, or maybe not. Maybe she had made up her mind and whatever, but it couldn't have hurt to make some kind of attempt.
I mean, with the way he this is the relationship he talked about that's like, oh, I was sobbing on my wedding night and shit like that, right?
No.
Different marriage?
This is different.
Oh.
Melinda was a girl that Anthony was seeing, cheating on his wife with.
Oh.
And is the reason Anthony got divorced. So Anthony was in a 9-year relationship with his wife, Jen. Cheated
9 years.
Yeah. Cheated on Jen with Melinda, got divorced, dated Melinda for 9 years, and then she left.
What do people see in him?
You're about to ask yourself that again in a big, big way here in a second. I think that's the crux of the entire episode.
You said the word of the day.
Ah, you gotta scream real loud. Ah, Conky, what do people see in Anthony? I didn't include the fact that they're doing a show with Jim Norton full-time at this point.
Oh, okay.
Jim has been doing the show since 2000, so he's just third mic now all the time.
Okay.
So they're both recently single. I think in both cases their girlfriends left them. And Opie is currently planning his wedding with his current girlfriend, Lindsay. Not Sandy. They broke up a while ago. But then suddenly, things take a dramatic turn.
All right, a familiar face at a Ronald McDonald charity event in the city. Our own Jill Nicolini emceed the benefit last night to support children who stay at the Ronald McDonald House while they undergo cancer treatment at local hospitals. The gala included a raffle, a silent auction. It was held at the one restaurant in the Meatpacking District. All proceeds go to the Ronald McDonald House, and as you could tell, she had a fantastic time. We just saw a quick shot of her. Oh, who is that man next to you? Is that your new boyfriend? I see. I don't mean to call you out on that, but that is him, right?
I think
Anthony?
everyone knows. That's Anthony Cumia,
Yes.
from Opie and Anthony. Thank you so much for coming down, darling. And, of course, everyone we want to thank
Oh, look at that.
Oh, again, we show him. William Sullivan, want to thank you. Ralph Vogel as well.
They call
John
you
Perch.
Antholini, right?
Antholini.com. Please visit the website.
For quite a while now, the boys have been aware of CW11's traffic vixen, Jill Nicolini, a model and actress who posed naked for Playboy in 2001 and was a finalist in the Fox reality show Married by America in 2003.
What the fuck is that?
That's where you have like 10 people. America decides to vote which 5 men end up with which 5 women. And at the end of the series, the 2 couples that don't get eliminated
Get killed.
they get a choice. They have a choice
Oh.
to get married or call the marriage off. It only lasted a season.
Really?
It's a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
I watched the finale on
Why?
YouTube because I was curious.
Without me?
Think you wanted to see it?
You were rubbernecking this crash without me?
So Jill ended up in one of the 2 couples, and neither couple decided to get married because why the fuck would you?
Yeah, why?
It's an arranged marriage decided by the reality show viewers of America in 2003.
This is an interesting concept, though.
O&A would comment on the outfits and costumes she would wear giving the traffic reports every morning. Sometimes she would do cosplay.
Really? Oh, that's cute.
Comedian Patrice O'Neill made an off-air comment that Anthony should try to pursue Jill instead of just ogling her every morning like a fucking creep. In May of 2008, Mick Foley, WWF's Mankind, was a guest in studio and mentioned that he was a friend of Jill's and that she was not only single, but surprisingly interested in Anthony.
The fuck? What kind of crossover episode is this?
I don't know. They soon started dating, and at this point in June, they've been together for 2 weeks and have been dubbed Antholini by the listeners.
I don't like that. It's like a pasta. Antholini sucks. What's her name?
Jill Nicolini.
Why would you put her last name?
Because what are you going to do, Jill? What are you going to do with Jill?
Anthill.
No, that's even worse.
Jilthany.
Jilthany? No.
Yes, it's way better than Antholini.
Antholini? They also did start a website, antholini.com, with pictures and everything, and the Wayback Machine does not have any save points on that website, unfortunately, so I couldn't look at it.
It was their fan house, just selfies and their food.
Anthony has gone from spending nights alone in his huge house to doing charity events and other outings on an almost nightly basis. We get Antholini updates just about every day, hearing a different side of Anthony that we've been used to, with Anthony at numerous children's charity events, and even babysitting Keith the Cop's kids and taking them to see Kung Fu Panda and for a night at Dave & Buster's. When I tell you how much Antholini takes up on these episodes around this time period, it's obscene.
What year was this?
2008. Because everybody, yourself included, are baffled by this. Everybody's looking at it and they're confused. How is this happening?
This could have been his turning point, sounds like.
Yeah, that's why it's an interesting
It could
arc.
have been a good turning point for him.
That's what I'm saying.
As far as Metro North New Jersey Transit, you're on time. And alternate side of the street parking rules are in effect today, citywide. And now, of course, we're going to check in with Linda Church in just a second, I believe.
Yeah, just
but
a second.
first, we want to talk about a little something here, what we did yesterday.
Yay.
A little treat for some of you right now. I know you guys are all interested in my new relationship, yes, with Anthony Cumia from Opie and Anthony. And we actually went yesterday to Dave & Buster's, had a little play date here. So once again, the web crew crashed our date, and I'm going to get away from this because I don't want to stand in front of myself. So very cute. good stuff. We had a great time. And if you go to cw11.com/morning news, we have some really cool clips and very funny pictures from our date, Linda Church. Check it out, okay?
You are the best.
Basketball again? I gotta go this way.
I just love love. By the way, Jill, we should say that was your 1 month anniversary.
Yes, it was the big
She's
1
moving
month,
along.
guys. And
Hey.
I'll move away again. Hold on. Dave and Buster's, that's the place to go. Yeah.
You got it. Now, what's the big 1 month anniversary?
It's going to be a fun
Say
little
it.
treat to the Bahamas.
Yay!
Yeah, we're leaving in a few hours.
Atlantis hanging out on the beach for a big weekend.
Yeah, I can't
I just
wait.
love love. I'm like surrounded by all these women in love with Suki and her baby pangs, and Jill's like, oh, me and Anthony. 68 degrees. I have a great life.
Oh my god.
Poor whatever your name is.
Oh no.
I missed it.
Tony
Oh, yeah.
and Regina?
Oh.
Rigatoni? Oh, that's a
Rigatoni.
cute couple
Yeah,
name.
Yeah, like Reggie and Tony.
Yeah, Reggie and Tony, Rigatoni.
That's fun.
That's cute.
Yeah.
We don't need to keep this in, but what is ours now?
Ooh.
Mothula, like, because it's like Dracula.
Mothula is nice. I like that.
Mothula.
Mothula's cute.
That's us. That's our cryptid name.
Ooh. Yeah. After doing a live show in Boston the previous day on former rival station WBCN, having a shitty experience at a Stone Temple Pilots concert, and a long trade ride home, Opie, Anthony, and Jim Norton are back in New York. They're tired, and the energy is pretty low for most of the K-Rock portion of the show. To start things off, Anthony makes fun of the sleeping mask Opie was wearing on the train, which causes Opie to give us a creepy little glimpse into his childhood.
Oh shit.
I'm the worst, lightest sleeper ever. So I have to do everything to try to like block out, light and sound. And this goes back to when I was a kid. My mom, she's insane, would like be an inch from my face while I was sleeping to see if I was breathing in the middle of the night.
I bet.
So that'll affect you when you get older.
I can relate to both aspects of that.
Really?
Where it's just like, I've done that with you, not like inch from your face, but like, just like general distance away, and I'm just like, cuddles, and I'm like, they're breathing, right? And I'm like, put my hand on your stomach, I'm like, yeah, yeah, they're breathing. Or like with the pets, I'll do that with them.
That just made me claustrophobic when you said that.
Yeah. Imagine waking up and somebody's right there.
My mom
Scare the crap out of me.
My mom would wake up in the middle of the night. I'm one of 7, and go from room to room to room. We all have the same story, and we'd be woken up because you feel a presence over you, and it was my mother making sure we were breathing and that we were alive.
Well,
so now when I hear a noise, I instantly wake up because I'm thinking, it's mother.
I'm a light sleeper too. And I'm like, why am I a light sleeper?
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm a fairly heavy sleeper.
You are an extremely heavy sleeper.
Yeah, I
you
sleep
fall
through
asleep
a lot.
fast, and you sleep through so much. A few weeks ago, I was in the living room, and Noodles was locked in the bedroom with you because it was like bedtime for everybody, but I was up late, and I had my headphones on. I was playing games, and I heard Noodles barking through my headphones, and I walked in, and I was like, Noodles, shh, shh. And you were still so sound asleep.
Yeah, I do not remember that.
I'm like,
wow. Now, Opie's been open about his mother's mental illness over the years, including this interview with Howie Mandel from 2005. Howie is talking about his experience with OCD and intrusive thoughts, which we've talked about on the show before, which Opie can relate to in some small aspects. He talks about having to go back and check his car to see if it's locked or stuff like that, but like small things.
those are very normal.
Trying to get rid of problems. I mean, I'm sure you've heard all that stuff a million times. Do you ever go to...
I'm in therapy.
Oh, you are in therapy.
And,
okay.
and I'm supposed to be medicated. I don't take the medication.
Oh, really?
No.
My mom has tried it all. It is a nightmare on earth, man.
What's her thing?
It's bad. She has thoughts that she's killing people, and she's convinced she's killing people, and she'll see a story in the paper, and she wants to go down to the police station and turn herself in. I mean, it's brutal stuff. But like you said, she knows it's dumb. She knows she's not crazy, but she can't get the actual thought out of her head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting shit.
I can imagine that being, because fugue states exist, and like sleepwalking and stuff exists. The intrusive thought of like seeing like a murder happened on the news and they still haven't found the person, and you're like, I don't remember what I was doing that time during the day.
Yeah, and you could just slip into that.
You're just like, did I do that? I don't know that I didn't do it, like...
Yeah, I think Opie mentions that she eventually moves into like an assisted living facility to kind of help. But even in that clip, she has the wherewithal and the awareness of it, but just can't kick the thoughts sometimes.
Yeah, when intrusive thoughts happen, one of the more tame ones that I get most often is like when we were leaving the apartment, and I'm like, my intrusive thought immediately goes to, oh, Noodles is going to get into something and like die, or like Noodles is going to get out because we forgot to actually lock the door, and or someone's going to come in and like let him out, and it tends to be around Noodles a lot when it comes to leaving the apartment. So I'm like really in them, so I have to like take myself out of them. And when I'm out of the intrusive thoughts, then it's like, oh, that is sort of silly that I would think that. I just try to remind myself that just means that I really care about Noodles and I don't want anything bad to happen to him.
Yeah. So for more historical context, Opie announces that Hillary Clinton is planning to suspend her campaign tonight or tomorrow. Anthony asks what he thinks will happen in the wake of the suspension, and Opie predicts Hillary will file for divorce by the end of the week.
Just because of the slight way that you said Hillary Clinton, do you think anybody tried to get Hitlery Clinton
going?
For
sure. Absolutely.
I never heard that, but I just realized that I know people probably tried that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that working for some people. In other news, Ted Kennedy underwent brain surgery, musician Bo Diddley passed away, and Vince McMahon has started promoting his $1 million giveaway, which ultimately led to him faking a horrible injury to write him off TV again. Conversations about the election are brief. The story at the moment is about Hillary dropping out and not Obama being the candidate going into the primary. Anthony's longtime friend and comedian Adam Ferrara is in studio and catches up on Antholini.
He slurps up a big old bowl of Antholini.
I got a girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, now it's official?
Well, yeah.
I
made it official.
You did?
Sure.
Would you carry your books from school?
Pink luggage.
Look at that.
Well, Keith
actually had Keith carry.
Keith carried the pink luggage. Yeah.
Yeah, my cop servant who does my laundry, carries my girlfriend's baggage. I have a picture of Keith dragging the fucking pink luggage. I was able to find it. I'll put it up on the screen. There it is.
Is it like... What is this relationship with Keith?
Keith is basically just Anthony's security. He's a cop,
And
he's trained. And do everything else. Opie has a man called Club Soda Kenny, who we'll eventually run into, who is also a former cop. And Anthony has Keith.
You know how sometimes people are like, ACAB, quit your jobs, get a real job.
ACAB, quit your job, be security for a racist shock jock.
But that's sort of what I'm getting at. How often do you think cops retire from being cops and go into something that's not just like vigilante justice or protecting people who need to be held accountable for their actions?
Yeah.
And just continue to further protect like white supremacy.
Yeah. Like I heard with Opie's case with Club Soda Kenny, who was on tour and worked with Andrew Dice Clay as like his touring manager, I think, or just kind of helped him on tour. He also worked for Jim because Jim was working with Dice in the late 90s, early 2000s, and eventually just kind of shifted over and started working for Opie. And yeah, sometimes we'll just talk about his days on the force and how fucking brutal and terrible he was, to the surprise of nobody.
It means a lot when I make my security guy.
Who's that guy? My luggage cart.
That's
Say
it.
Hello.
It's nice when you have your, your security guy carry the pink luggage.
Hey, are you happy, my friend?
Of course.
There you go.
Just the traffic girl.
Yeah, traffic. I thought weather. Oh.
Not weather.
I want to go
Everyone confuses
on record of saying you are batting over your head. Seriously. Does the woman have a retinal problem? Does she?
Hey.
Wow.
We get along very nicely.
Wow. Look at you. God bless you.
We get along very nicely.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Of course you did.
Anthony can handle that.
Yeah,
what are you saying,
look at that.
Adam?
A girl like that, you throw out the Garmin. You don't
20
need
to 30 minute delays on the Long Island Railroad.
Yeah.
And alternate side parking's in effect.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
God bless you, my
See?
friend.
And I always know what the traffic's going to be.
Yeah.
It's handy, a little perk.
So we get a lot of that this time period. People goofing on Anthony and Opie thinking it's really fucking funny, because, I mean, it is.
Somebody said, you get a girl like that and you throw out the Garmin?
The Garmin. Your navigation.
Your navigation?
Yeah, you don't need that anymore.
You think she's just going to know all the navigation?
Yeah, sure. That's how that works. You throw out the tom-tom. Do people still have those? Do people still have tom-toms?
Well, like the drums?
Yeah. Do you remember when there was a joke on an episode of Doctor Who when they wrote in a character and the joke was that their name was Thomas Thomas and that they knew navigation and that was the joke? It was like, haha, the name's Tom Tom. Terrible writing. The boys goofing on other radio shows, especially popular safe shows in stark contrast to theirs, is pretty common. A news story about a radio host out of West Palm Beach, Florida is discussed, and hearing this segment hit a little bit different after what we discussed on the last episode of O&A Detox.
Listeners know him as Danny on the Jennifer and Danny show on the airwaves. Chekalinsky faced a judge in West Palm Beach this morning. Police say his live-in girlfriend called police Saturday night and told officers Chekalinsky punched her on the right side of her face and jaw. According to the arrest report, the girlfriend told police he also threw her down on the floor, causing a bruise on her right arm and pain in her lower back. Chekalinsky was charged with domestic battery. The judge released him on his own recognizance and ordered him to stay away from his girlfriend.
See, we were saying this the other day because a lot of people look at us like we're creeps because of the type of radio we do. I'm telling you, it's the ones that are doing the safe radio or these CBS douchies that are going to be down the hall in another day or two. They look like a bunch of creeps.
I don't know what other abusive radio show hosts have been discussed on the show in the past except for Tom Leykis.
Is this like a segment they do?
No, it just happens. Tom Leykis, who the boys had feuded with when they shared a station in WNEW. Tom is a shock jock as well, who has a segment on his Wikipedia article dedicated to abuse survivors he's outed, including women who have accused Kobe Bryant and broadcaster Marv Albert. That's just a thing he does on his show. When people come out and as abuse survivors, we'll just give their name out on the radio when they're like protected.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
how does he get this information?
I guess you just hear about it and then it's protected, but he gets it and then just blabs it out on the fucking radio. Real douche.
What a dick face.
I bring all this up since Tom Leykis was sentenced to probation in 1993 for striking his fourth wife after a Christmas party and attempting to stick her head in a fireplace.
What?
Kinda undermines Opie's story about it being the quiet ones you gotta watch, was my point.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, anyone is capable of abuse.
Yeah. If y'all listened to last week, the whole point is that Anthony was arrested for something very similar, with a lot of the details being very similar also. The boys are hosting an animation festival live event this weekend featuring animations of bits from the show they've created and sent in by listeners.
Wait, who created? Oh, wait. So listeners animated it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of those are on YouTube if you want to find those.
Okay.
The show sold out quickly, and Jim has invited higher-ups he knows from HBO and Comedy Central to be in attendance in hopes that they can get an animated series like The Ricky Gervais Show.
Wow. Well, you know, we all know why The Ricky Gervais Show actually was any good.
Yeah.
Carl Pilkington
You had Carl.
was the only reason.
He was the heart and soul.
Yeah, and honestly, still the heart and soul.
Yeah.
I'm glad this might change, like, today.
Oh, no.
I'm glad nothing terrible has come out about Carl, other than, like, the obvious stuff is that he works with Ricky Gervais, or did.
Yeah, I don't even know if they still work together anymore.
I don't even know if they talk. But, like, you know, his ignorance about things.
Yeah, sometimes it comes off, you know, a bit insensitive.
It seems more like just straight up ignorance rather than, like, willful ignorance.
Yeah. This is after already filming a live-action reality game show pilot for Comedy Central that was never picked up, but you can see in full on YouTube. It sucks, and we never get the animation series either.
I want to see it.
The live-action game show?
Yeah.
Maybe we could watch that on a future one.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even need to really watch the whole thing. You kind of get it pretty quick. But
yeah.
It's kind of like they have 2 teams of 5 comedians who some of them are frequent guests on the show. Other ones are just kind of people they know.
Right.
And the whole point is you send them out into the street to do wacky things.
With the cars.
For point values. Like, you pull this stunt on the street, you get 5 points. You get someone to do this, you get 10 points.
Okay.
And whichever team has the most points at the end of it wins. This is kind of a play on the Sex for Sam thing that got them fired from WNEW when they assigned point values to places in New York for couples to have sex in. And one of the places on the list was a church. and they say they put that on there as a goof, thinking like no one's actually going to do that.
Yeah.
But then Paul Mercurio and a couple went to St. Patrick's Cathedral. They had sex in a vestibule, and they got arrested. And O&A got canceled.
They got arrestabuled. If I were the kind of person to be like, oh yeah, I listen to this show, odds are I'm also the kind of person that would want to have sex in a church.
Oh yeah?
As like a edgy thing. Because like plenty of people want to have sex in churches as
True.
like, that's so taboo, you know? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Opie opens the XM portion of the show by playing the song Show Me Your Genitals. You ever heard that? It's like, show me your genitals. Okay. Your genitals.
How is this not a trending song right now for like TERFs?
Ooh! Ope is the only person who finds it remotely funny, but that doesn't stop him from playing it again tomorrow. As for the rest of the show, Lewis Black is in studio. I just recently listened to a WNEW episode with Lewis promoting The Daily Show shortly before Jon Stewart took over as host.
Oh.
And now Black is back to promote a new book, Me of Little Faith, with his criticisms of different religions. The topic of which religion is the worst comes up, and things get ugly pretty quick.
Well, let's cut to the chase here. Let's get to the fucking brass tacks. All right, the Mormons and the Scientologists, they don't put bombs on their chest. They run at the movie theaters. We all know who the fucking the harshest ones are. Come on, they don't hijack planes. I mean, they're fucking, they might be kind of dicks.
Wait a second, please. Most of the people who do that, you can't.
Let Jimmy have his moment.
But no, he knows I'm right, though, because
I know you're not right.
They're all of the same religion, the ones that do it.
Then where's the outrage from the Muslim community when it does happen?
It's in a ton of places.
You never hear them
here's why you don't
leaders
hear
speaking
it, for
out.
fuck's sake. Why don't you hear it? Because we don't even hear about the war. Where's the war? Page 57.
No,
yes.
It's not even in the paper usually.
Yeah, it's not. Well, now it's down to 3%.
Yeah.
They don't. What are they going to put? Big news. Islam's think this sucks. You think so? Come on.
They are right now.
There's a group of people who happen to be Muslim, the same way there was a group of fucking Catholics who were psychotic for a while, the same way there were a group of fucking Jews who were crazy at some time during the planet.
Yeah, but
there's a group of them, Jimmy.
Yes,
it's
billion.
Not a whole.
Is it a billion?
Yeah, he thinks the group is really that fucking big. Jimmy is frustrating because at a lot of points in the show, he ends up being like a liberal voice of reason.
Yeah.
But then there's times like this where it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Fucking religion.
But it's a lot. It's not, of course it's not. It's a very small percentage comparatively. But there are a lot that are doing it. I'm not saying that they're like, it's every Muslim. You take any group right now, they are the ones who are stirring the pot up more than anybody.
And that is why my chapter on Islam is very short.
Why?
Because
I
you
don't
still
want
fly. Even to sell the book, I don't want to go into hiding.
But you see, exactly.
Oh, sure.
We all know you can shit on Mormons and Catholics and other, and you may get shit for it. But you're not gonna have to worry about your life. And let's be very frank, that's why people are very hesitant to make fun of, or make fun of, because it's not going to make fun of them, but to truly trash them.
Well, when you do a cartoon and then they come after you.
You know how long it would take to saw through Lewis's neck?
There, of course, there's a lot of Muslims that aren't violent, but you know what? There's a lot that are, and people are afraid to even tease them. And in the New York papers, they wouldn't even show that cartoon that they were showing. You imagine, if it was a cartoon about Christ or anybody, they would have printed it. But because it depicted Muhammad and they were afraid of violence, not afraid of protesters or advertising boycotts, they were afraid of violence. So they wouldn't print it. And that's not in the Middle East, and that's not a handful of crooks. That's here in the United States. They were afraid of violence from a religious group by simply showing the image that had been deemed offensive.
I think the segment of the book ended up being like a page.
Yeah.
I think they said it was 3 paragraphs, and one of the paragraphs was a single sentence. See, he just didn't write a lot on it.
I mean, there's plenty of Islamophobia. You can fucking look around everywhere.
Yeah, you don't need that shit.
Yeah, and Lewis pointing out that any group has a capability of having extremists in the group.
Yeah.
And religion is very good at, all religions are very good at bringing out extremism. Most wars are about religion and money, and why money and religion are sort of like entangled a lot of times.
And I wonder if Jim's point would change knowing how much the Christian extremism is the majority in 2022.
Yeah. And probably was back then when it came to domestic terrorism rather.
Yeah.
Because when a white person who is Christian does an act of terrorism, you don't really point it out.
Yeah.
As in, the media doesn't really point out, like, they were white and they were Christian. They have to think of an aspect of their personality that makes them other.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they were gay. Oh, they were mentally ill.
They always point to them being mentally ill.
Rather than, could these big aspects of their personality, being white and Christian, be an aspect of why they were doing an act of terrorism?
It also doesn't.
That's too weird.
It also doesn't help their news sources at this time. Like, you hear Jimmy mention that they watch a lot of Al Jazeera. They don't have a lot of liberal news sources.
Yeah.
They follow Drudge. They look at Breitbart. They're following the New York Post. All of these are right-leaning publications, so that's really the only source of news they're getting. Whether or not they know that they're just one-sided is, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they definitely have a anti-liberal stance in the form of, we're for free speech, and that's basically it. That's like the only thing they really push back against liberals for, but it comes up a lot in shock jock radio because that's what you do.
I wonder if you were to sort of press them on, okay, free speech to what extent, and see what they say about that. Like, would they say, I have the right to say shitty things about anybody I want, because that's my free speech.
Right.
I have the right to protest anything I want, because free speech.
Mm-hmm.
I have the right to tell people to be violent toward people, because free speech. I have the right to tell people that these people deserve violence, because free speech.
I think it helps point out how Anthony reacted to Alex Jones's thing about that was just a free speech thing and he should have been able to say whatever.
Oh.
Whether or not Anthony is 100% aware of what was said by Alex on the radio show, because I don't know how much attention he was really paying.
Yeah. He's a busy guy.
Yeah, he's a super busy guy. Political discussions very rarely get this in-depth at this point in time, talking about Lewis and Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And I credit Lewis for being in the studio, offering counterpoints to Jimmy's Islamophobia and Anthony's closet conservatism.
Yeah.
Opie is a tad more liberal, not as much as he is today, but you will hear him quietly agreeing with Lewis throughout the segment. If Lewis wasn't there, Opie wouldn't be offering much of an argument, and it just would have been Ant and Jimmy ranting. They already know that Hillary is dropping out.
Yeah.
But seeing Obama and Michelle celebrate is what starts to make Anthony paranoid.
You know how great it would be for this radio show if we have a black president and a Michelle Obama to make fun of? She is scary, man.
What?
Wow.
How is she scary?
I don't know. I've never seen anything remotely scary about Michelle Obama, but leave it to Opie to some degree. He doesn't really go into it, but especially Anthony to find something scary about Michelle Obama.
She gave her hubby a little congratulatory, it wasn't even like a handshake. You ever see how when, and in the past, say the guy wins the nomination, the wife comes up, gives him a little hug and a kiss, maybe they raise each other's hands in victory like that. She gave him this secret little handshakey thing, which only to me meant we are that much closer to the race war, hun. It was some kind of little fist punchy thumb uppy thing, which was kind of like, whoa.
No, a secret handshake between husband and wife. Oh, no. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me?
Farrakhan, he's doing it with his wife.
It was a little, I was a little weirded out by it.
Why?
Because she seems like she has some influence over this gentleman.
Of course she does. First ladies have always had influence over their fucking husbands.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, like, he's like, oh, she's going to be the one whispering the things. So it's just like, okay, so you're not worried about Barack, you're worried about Michelle? What? That feels like you're just making shit up at this point.
I mean, there's a reason why black women are, like, the most oppressed group. Just generally.
And she seems a little more less than mainstream, the way Barack is trying to really work both sides of the fence here. He is. He's trying to keep black people on board because he is a black man. And he's also trying to not scare away white people by coming off as, let's just say, too black.
Yeah, I knew he'd say that.
Yeah. You know exactly where that was going.
Yep, I was like, when's he saying it?
I gotta point out that Anthony is worried about candidates being not mainstream when his whole point of backing Trump was that he wasn't mainstream.
If you want to talk about it, what was your line of thinking during this election?
I honestly didn't have much of one.
Yeah.
But I was more excited for Barack to win. I remember this was around the time period I was interning at a right-wing radio station.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually was there on the night of election night.
Yeah.
I wasn't really swayed either way because I didn't pay any attention to politics in 2008. I was not locked in. I was not tuned in. I was a product of the 9/11, hating the war, hating Bush, and didn't want another Republican.
Yeah, wait,
that was honestly it.
Did you didn't think the Republicans could protect us?
No.
How did that not polarize you to be a Republican?
Right?
Like so many people.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I remember, so how old were you? You were 20? I remember, because this was the first election that I could vote in also. We were at an age where conspiracies seemed very appetizing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And so we were like thinking like, what's going to happen to this black guy if he becomes president? How did he get this far without as much pushback as we expected? And so for a short period of time, I was thinking I was going to vote for McCain.
Right, because, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and I was just sort of like, this was also the time that I was like, yeah, I'm getting into politics. And that meant that I watched Glenn Beck and like CNN a lot.
Geez.
Yeah, and it was just like, yeah. And my friend had made the art, and it was depicting Barack Obama as a like media puppet.
Oh, yeah.
And media darling and stuff like that. And like, I wonder how much of that was like this insidious, like the anti-Semitism of like the Jewish people run the media.
Yeah.
And therefore Barack Obama is a media darling within this Illuminati, like kind of conspiracy mindset.
Yeah. And that.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, that he's a puppet controlled by Jewish people.
Yeah, I wonder what kind, like where, that just sort of shows how. Because that was in high school.
Yeah.
That's like over a decade ago. And I'm only just now realizing that like that link.
Anti-Semitism is a root of way more conspiracies than you would think.
Yeah, I remember seeing that conspiracy.
The pyramid.
Yeah, the pyramid. That's like, oh yeah, here are ones that are like loosely rooted in anti-Semitism. Here are ones that are a little bit more obvious. And here are ones that are just blatant anti-Semitism. Yeah.
Yeah, like how far you have to dig before you strike. Like, how many questions you have to ask before the answer is anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
You mean this phony is trying to appeal to different voters? I don't like it. Dude, they're all awful. Look at Bill Clinton's influence. He's out, and 20 minutes later, his hole is running for president herself.
His hole?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you hear a lot of that.
I mean, come on, of course there's
yes, but this is a very sensitive, touchy issue and has been for many years in this country. This race relations between black and white. And I think having a wife like, what's her name, Michelle? Like Michelle Obama, could be detrimental. He has, in the past, kept her pretty quiet.
Quiet? You think that handshake makes her loud?
Yeah. We're getting to we see her more. She's going to be on The View in a couple days. I saw that. No, now we're going to hear her side of things. No. There was a conspiracy there for a while that Michelle gave a speech, and people were trying to say that she said whitey in the speech. But seriously, when you look at it, she was seriously saying wide he in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
But people were trying to go, oh, look. She's saying things like whitey. She can't be trusted. Any little thing.
Oh, you know, the slur, whitey.
Yeah, you know the one. It's terrible. It's awful. Roastmaster General Jeff Ross is in studio, and the conversation eventually shifts to the election. Ross mentions McCain, saying that we might need to stay in Iraq for 100 years. Jim asks why anyone would vote for a man who has no exit strategy, and Anthony agrees with him on this point. He wants out of Iraq, seeing the loss of American lives as unjustified, but he goes a step further.
I could give a shit about the Iraqi people. I don't care what happens to them afterwards. I don't care if there's a bloodbath. I don't believe and the bath party takes back over, and Saddam gets brought back from the dead like Frankenstein and runs the place. I could care less.
What we ought to do is this.
I don't believe that. I believe that you care, and you're just saying that. I believe that if you really saw that people were dying because of it, you would care.
No,
you're not that kind of guy.
No, you know what? I don't because then rise the fuck up and unite. And have a revolution and make the country the way you want it as a people.
Because revolutions are so easy.
So easy. I left it in specifically because you hear Jeff go, I don't believe that. You're not that kind of guy. And Anthony's like, no, I am. I am terrible.
Mask off, buddy.
I want you to know. Yeah. It's like, no, don't get it twisted. I am terrible.
I'm making this choice to dig my heels into this.
I'm letting you know right now. I will give Anthony at least this. He is very honest in how shitty he is. He's not one to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
On the following episode, the boys go to the phones and get a very unique phone call.
Is it Michelle Obama?
No.
Let's go to Bob in Pennsylvania. Bob.
Hey there, Bob.
Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to know what you guys think about the Bilderberg group meeting right now.
Who?
Oh, the Bilderberg group.
Virginia.
That's the group that decides who the world leaders are going to be. Yep. And they take over hotels all over the world, and then they figure out who they want next.
And what do they do?
This is Illuminati type stuff.
They usually meet every 4 years in North America, and in the past 2 years they've actually met twice. So it's very suspicious. We had info.
The Bilderberg group,
was the anointed one.
Wait, say that.
Now it's turned out that Obama is the nominee, so it's very suspicious there. They might be planning to kill him, or they might be set up a race war. You might get what you want, Anthony.
I never want a race war, my friend. Well, I've never said that in my life.
Dude, hold on. The Bilderberg group. What are you talking about?
No, it's the Build-A-Bear group.
Oh, Build-A-Bear.
It's where you take your kids to a store, and they build their own bears. And they're cute as a button.
Bob wants to talk about the Bilderberg group. He's adulted and frustrates the boys by taking forever to answer questions they have on the topic. Opie pulls up Wikipedia or something and reads off basic facts, catching up anyone who has no idea what they're talking about, listeners and themselves included.
Yeah.
Bob mentions having reporters infiltrating the group, and after the boys eventually hang up on him...
Wait, Bob has people infiltrating?
Bob says that he has a couple reporters infiltrating the Bilderberg group. He doesn't say who he's with.
Bob?
I don't know. I wish... Like, they'll ask him a question, and then there will be like a 5 to 10 second bit of silence before he even starts to answer, and when they start talking again, you hear him answer the question, so eventually they just get frustrated and say, fuck this isn't worth it, and they hang up on him. After hanging up on him, another caller calls in, asking if they remember Alex Jones, who they mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
Their newly hired producer, Stunt Brain, asks if...
Stunt Brain?
Stunt Brain.
Okay.
He is the stunt brain when the guys on the show don't know an answer to a question or something.
He takes the hit.
He takes the
learning
hit.
A thing.
Yep. Stunt brain. I looked into him a little bit. He was hired as as a producer on the show, even though they already have tons of people. They added another person. He was hired by CBS specifically. He wasn't hired by like the show.
Oh.
I guess the station thought they needed help, and he used to be a producer at Z100 back in the day. Where we saw our boy, old Kid Kelly.
Oh, okay.
And he knows a bit more about the race, and whenever they have questions about things going on, like they ask what suspending a campaign means, you keep your delegates. So if anything happens to the person who is actually nominated...
You decide who they go to?
You take over.
You take over?
Yeah, or like you take their place. Like if someone is, couldn't continue their campaign, you become the de facto. Because you still have the delegates. You don't give them all over just yet.
Interesting.
He seems a bit more liberal at this point, but I looked Stuntbrain up on Twitter recently, and he refers to himself as a conservatarian. And yeah, he just posts a bunch of bullshit. So fuck that guy, unfortunately.
Weird.
Fell down that way. Listening to people on O&A is like watching the ball in Plinko, and you don't know which way he's going to end up, and you're hoping for him, and it's like, oh no, damn it. He asks if this is related to Bohemian Grove, another topic of discussion in the same circles of conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones and all that, the secret group of elites controlling everything. Anthony sounds a bit more interested in this than the others, although I don't know if this is anything that actually is stuck with him, because by the end of it, he goes from, No, what's this? What do you talk about? And making Build-A-Bear jokes, too. Oh, that's interesting. So it sounds like it might have planted a small seed of doubt.
That's the thing about conspiracies.
Yeah. It just needs to sound credible enough to plant a seed.
Credible and novel. Like, you could say that presidents don't have any power. That presidents are just figureheads for a country. And someone could be like, yeah, and... But if you say that presidents are controlled by the media elite, then it's like, that sounds like something I'm not supposed to know.
Yeah, I don't know that. Which elites? And then you can...
Who's elite?
Exactly. How?
Who's the enemy?
What makes them elite? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What are they fighting for? Is it for me or against me?
Yeah.
So we move on to day 16 of Antholini. Haven't heard it in a while.
Rigatini.
And Anthony says they've seen each other day and night, 14 of those days going on dates. So they are inseparable.
Oh.
And saying I love you, things like this. A big surprise to everyone, Opie included.
Aww.
They're going on dates, they're going on errands, like having Jill's cat fixed. And they're going to Nashville later this week for the CMA Country Music Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, this is again a big shock because they're just like, what the fuck do you know about country? And then Anthony is like, when I was living in California, I listened to a lot of country music stuff because he was raising around like horses and on people like horseback riding, and Southern culture was like big in his life at that time period.
California?
There's a lot of cowboy shit.
Oh, cowboy shit, that's right.
Yeah. Patrice O'Neill is in studio again, and we hear a little bit about Anthony's bedroom antics. This isn't
What do you mean
good.
antics? What, does he jump on the bed?
No.
Does he fall off and crack his head?
I think I used antics as a sarcastic word.
Oh.
Because it's not good.
Oh, no.
We've already heard that in his book, Anthony jokes about the first time him and Jill had sex. He asked if he could just put the tip in. Do you remember this?
Oh, that was her.
This was Jill. And he decides to just say, fuck that, and go along with it. In the book, he tries to say, oh, you know, I don't know, man. That was after the fact.
If it was consensual, then why are you making it out to be not consensual?
Yeah.
What's funny about it not being consensual?
Exactly. And what we do follow up here is not consensual.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Get her pregnant, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Just cut the tip out of the condoms and go, oops.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Giant laugh. What is this, a fucking live studio audience?
They do have a studio audience outside the studio.
Oh my god.
They have risers. They have 4...
That's right, you told me they had this at some point.
On some days, if you wanted to go down to the studio, outside the glass windows, you could actually watch what's going on in the studio, and they're mic'd for some reason.
Do you think you would have done that if you had the opportunity?
I wanted to. In 2007, when we were going on a trip to Jersey, this was a time period where O&A were suspended because they had a homeless man in studio, and which is something they do a lot. And they use them for various things, of course. Or he was going on a rant, and I think he said something like, I don't know if he used the word rape, but he insinuated he wanted to rape Condoleezza Rice.
Jesus.
Condoleezza Rice?
Condoleezza Rice. Yeah.
I love to fuck that bitch, dude. She needs the fucking man.
Yeah.
I'll fuck that bitch.
I just imagine the horror in Condoleezza Rice's face
when she realizes what's
as
going
you were
on.
just like holding her down and fucking her.
Punch her all in the fucking face. Shut up, bitch.
That's exactly what I meant.
And they just kind of went along with it. So O&A got suspended for it. And it was a big news story and everything, because it was like, what the fuck are y'all broadcasting, my dudes?
Holy
What is
shit.
this?
Yeah, what the fuck?
And so I wanted to see Ron and Fez at the very least, though. It's like, well, if O&A are suspended, I want to at least see Ron and Fez. So I instant messaged Ron, because I know he used AIM.
Oh,
and I messaged him and I said, hey, we're going up to Jersey. You know, can I sit in and watch the show? And he actually responded and said, since O&A are suspended, we're not really doing that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the opportunity. I
think
did want to go there, though.
You don't need to. She wants to have a kid.
Dude,
Dude,
Condoms? What are you, crazy?
No bags, huh?
Oh, get out of
Good
here.
boy.
Serious?
There's nothing.
You went in raw digging.
Why not?
Already?
So
What do you think?
So she's gonna get pregnant. She's not gonna wait for you.
I care.
She's trying to get pregnant.
Well, who knows? She might be on the pill. You don't know that.
She ain't on no fucking
And
pill.
Anthony may pull out.
He doesn't
pull out.
Pull out where? He would never pull.
I haven't pulled out in all my life.
He wouldn't dare put that anywhere
Oh
except
my
for
God!
inside.
I used to use the old thumb trick, where as you're pumping out, you put your thumb under the condom, and whoosh, that fucker comes right off. You're back in. The chick never knows the condom came off.
But you
Shoot
didn't
a
even need to
load.
do that trick here.
Done. No.
And you never got a girl pregnant?
Lucky me.
The thumb trick?
The thumb trick. We all know the thumb trick.
The sexual assault thumb trick?
I wanted to rewind it because as much as you hear the audience, listen to the response after Anthony says the thumb trick.
You're back in. The chick never knows the condom came off. Shoot.
Nothing. Dead silence. Just
the audience is like, whoa.
Wait.
Whoa, what? But did y'all agree to...
It would have
the
been...
The chick never knows?
It would have been weird, but the fact that you straight up said she never knows the difference, that's really weird. That, you know...
Yeah.
If anyone didn't know there was a problem with that, there's your red flag of like,
yeah.
There were a few scares back in the old high school days.
For a guy who doesn't want kids, that's taking some crazy chances.
Dude,
The
you ever have
paranoia-
$30,000 on a blackjack hand? It's the same feeling. Come on.
Oh, wow, that's revealing. So, his
Loves gambling.
high-risk gambling thing,
yeah.
his high-risk gambling behavior rolls into sexual assault.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
If you think about why people choose to sexually assault people, and not just merely because, it was dubious consent. Like, I didn't really know if they wanted to or didn't want to. No, he's straight up saying, she doesn't know.
It's interesting to me because a lot of what they say in Shock Jock and doing radio is pushing the envelope and seeing what you can get away with. I think that also plays into rolling the dice.
Consent.
Yeah.
Rolling the dice, yeah.
Let's see how much we can actually get away with here. Let's keep pushing the envelope.
Can I just do the tip?
Yeah, it's like, okay, then how about this?
You were accepting of that. You didn't stop me there. I've got my foot in the door.
Exactly. Not saying every shock jock is a sexual assault.
Not all shock jocks.
But...
# not all shock jocks.
They have an intern at the show who they nicknamed Cream Pie Jones because he basically does the same thing. Not to the point where it's sexual assault, but just doesn't use condoms.
Okay. So the other person's fine with it?
Yeah. We're just gonna keep calling someone Cream Pie Jones as if it's a joke, while Anthony is over here doing the exact same fucking thing and doing it non-consensually, and we're not gonna point out that they're... what?
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
I don't know if we need to explain why removing condoms during sex is sexual assault, but like...
Well, anything that you're doing without the other person's knowledge that they did not consent to...
Especially something risky.
Yeah. Like, anything that they did not sign up for, that is non-consensual.
Yeah, if in the middle of sex, you stop and you say, hey, can I take the condom off? And they say, actually, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's fine.
You got the go-ahead,
But if you do the whole thumb trick, and you either compromise the condom, or... remove the condom because you have some, like, breeding kink.
Right.
Like, that is sexual assault, and some would consider it rape.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fucking do that shit.
And this is something he says he's been doing since high school.
And claims he doesn't have any kids. I bet you he has kids.
He has to.
Gotta have kids.
Like, what the fuck? I didn't leave any of this in because it was just kind of novel, but I learned that something he said he used to do in high school was he would run... pregnancy tests out of his bedroom for other kids at school.
What do you mean run them?
Well, back then, they took a lot more time to...
Oh, he would like a processing room?
Yeah, he did it in his closet.
Oh.
So, since he already had experience with this, obviously, because he was being a risky boy back then, that other kids from school would say, hey man, can you do this for me? And since his mom didn't give a fuck, and didn't go into his room, I guess, ever, which, I'm not surprised by it, would just have, like, a whole bunch going for other... and they would pay him, and he'd make a little business.
He probably did this once.
He says he did it, like, 5, 6 times.
Sure.
Which is still a lot. That still sounds like too many. So the lovely couple...
Brangelina?
No.
You had to look down at your notes.
Antholini.
You forgot what they
How
were
quickly we forget. Are back from Nashville. And comedian Bob Kelly is in studio from Tourgasm. He's a bit out of the loop. And the others have to catch him up on Antholini. This is the thing. Whenever there's a comedian in studio who hasn't been there in a few days, they don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, what bits are going on right now?
And they're like, whoa, what? I'm sorry, what's going on here?
Why is everybody so against this having any type of substance to it?
Really?
Really?
Really? Are you really saying that to me?
Because you're all emotionally devoid jackasses.
we are.
All of you.
Really?
All of you are.
Really?
Are you crazy? You so were you until you met Jill. I've been with you 14 miserable years, and let me tell you something. You've been married.
Holy Jesus.
You've been married. You had a long-term girlfriend. In 14 years, I never saw you hug, kiss, or hold hands with your significant other.
It is interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? I love Opie pulling that curtain back a little bit, giving us a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
Is it getting stronger? Are you happier?
Yes.
You're going to be married with a kid, something you were completely against. Now, let me tell you something. I told Ronnie B. this could be either the greatest thing that happens to you or the worst thing. There's no in between, my friend. You are all in with a fine hand, and we're waiting to see what
You see if my aces hold up?
Yes,
Can we please?
Or someone pulls a house on me?
There is no gray area. I got to say it. It's either going to be the greatest thing that ever happens to Anthony or the worst thing. I have to say that.
So do we have, I'm assuming there are episodes that we can listen to after they break up.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
And we find out why. So that's something to look forward to.
Wait, are we not going to listen to them right now?
No. They don't break up yet. Antholini are still going strong. They've only been together for a couple weeks.
Well.
You gotta wait. You gotta find out how long this is gonna last.
I don't want to.
It's gonna be a surprise. Don't look it up. Don't Google it. No one at home. Don't Google it.
No one at home.
The guys start talking about an Australian indie film they were obsessed with for a little while, which reminds Anthony of the fallout of his breakup, leading to Melinda taking everything from Anthony's house, including most of his DVDs except for that one.
Wait, what one?
It's a movie called Bad Boy Bubby. It's an Australian indie film, and they were talking about it, and they mentioned it, and Anthony goes, oh yeah, that's one of the few DVDs I still have left.
I think it's really funny that she just took everything.
Yeah, she left him with an Ash from Evil Dead statue, a couple Hogan's Heroes action figures, and not much else. So now he lives in what he refers to as his play space, aka Empty Mansion.
Do we have Bad Boy Bubby for Mr. Robert Kelly? Did we ever find it?
Oh, that was one of the DVDs left from me.
Huh.
In my decimated DVD closet at home.
Well, you got a lot
was
of
Bad Boy Bubby.
You had a lot of DVDs taken?
Oh, yeah.
How many did you lose, would you say?
I lost those in the hundreds.
No.
Oh, yeah.
All of them she took?
Most of them. She left, my Star Trek ones, I think.
Who took your DVDs or no?
Huh?
Who took your DVDs?
What do you think?
I don't know. You broke up a couple times.
What?
Somebody took your DVDs.
Yeah.
You didn't know if it was your girlfriend or your wife.
I don't know if it was your girlfriend or wife. What are you acting like?
Oh, DVDs, what? Back in fucking...
61?
Yeah, 61? No, the ex-girlfriend.
The ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Why would you take all the DVDs?
I don't know. She had girlfriends helping her out, and I guess they, just grab whatever they could.
I've definitely been that person where someone's like, I have to go get all my stuff from my ex's house. Will you come help me? And I'm like, yeah, I will. And I'm just taking shit.
He's living the Gautier song.
Oh, shit.
Were you mad?
No, I don't give a shit. I'll get new
the
ones.
X-Files?
But, no, I got that. Thanks
Why
to
wouldn't you have been there when that was happening? Yeah.
Danny and Marissa. I got the X-Files.
Oh.
Oh, is that gone?
No, I got that. But she took other ones. But that I still have.
Were they yours or both of yours?
Both, I guess.
I wanted to leave you on what could be considered either a sad note or a kind of funny happy note, especially since we already just listened to the condom trick, which was terrible, and anything bad happening to Anthony is pretty funny. He decided to stay at the fucking hotel casino.
Yeah.
And leave me here to take whatever I want. Yeah. I'm gonna take whatever the fuck I want.
I bet you she took her sweet time. She was like, I'll give him another day. And if he shows up, then maybe we could talk about it.
Yeah.
Wow. He's still not fucking here. I'm taking his DVDs now.
I'm taking hundreds of DVDs. A good bit of these clips I wanted to leave in because of how Anthony sounds also. Like, when he's talking about how happy he is in the relationship, he seems very shy and not actually wanting to talk about how happy he is.
But also wicked close to the mic.
Yeah. But then when he's talking about, were you upset, were you mad? Like, he doesn't really want to delve into any emotions. Was I happy?
But he's telling everyone else how they're all emotionally devoid.
Yeah, I wanted to leave that in too.
Yeah.
Opie letting us fucking know. I do appreciate that. But that brings an end to this excursion back in time to 2008 O&A. So let us know what you thought about this. I know y'all like the longer episodes, but, you know, this is easier on us.
They're gonna have a riot.
Oh my god, yeah. The pitchforks and the fucking flaming torches.
Like, we want a long one. I'm like, no.
We want another 4-hour excursion.
I mean, if you hear that everyone really wants long ones, I'll consider it. This is all I got done in my...
my
knitting.
Neb's been knitting this whole time.
My thumb hurts.
That seems like you made a good bit of progress there.
I got...
like at least twice as much as you had.
Yeah, I guess.
And I mean, we only recorded for almost 2 hours, so that's not a very long time.
This is not much for 2 hours.
You also haven't been doing it nonstop. You've been stopping and talking.
Even if this is an hour's worth, this is not that much.
When'd you start? And I'm not talking that. I'm talking when'd you start knitting, period.
What, knitting... learning to knit?
Yeah.
Like, a couple weeks ago. Well, no, when you... I guess Christmas.
Yeah. So by that point, it's 5 days.
But...
that's not bad.
It's not that many.
It's okay. It all takes time. Oh no. How are you crying last night?
I put my hands over my eyes like a cartoon character, and I just went.
You gotta cry fast.
You gotta cry fast. You gotta get we should teach Anthony this. When you don't really want to have emotions, you can just do them real fast. Speed running your emotions.
And eventually it'll come. It's like when, and I know you don't like talking about this, but it's like when you're sick. And you can't get it out, right?
Yeah.
My technique is a bit different than the old fingers.
Oh,
down.
like nauseous.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you need to make yourself vomit. And some people will do the old finger trick. My technique is, and I learned this at a very young age, and I don't know why, I lean over the side of the tub.
Okay.
Not the toilet, because the toilet feels too small. I like having all the space of the tub. And I just sit there on my knees with my mouth open.
Like a bird.
Like a bird. And I just wait. And it just eventually decides now's the time.
I do something sort of similar. I'm sure everyone loves to hear about this.
Well, that's why it's at the end and people have already clicked off.
I will, if I need to throw up, I don't often use my fingers much. That's just, you shouldn't need to, honestly.
Yeah.
But more often than not, I will just lean over the toilet and just look at the toilet, and the concept of a toilet's so gross to me that I'm like, okay, here it comes.
And I say all this is to say, sometimes you just need to get the ball rolling.
You need to purge, but also no, let's not say purge. You need to let it out.
Yes.
Let out stuff that's built up. You got to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And I have a similar thing with when it comes to crying.
Oh.
If I'm like,
Anthony, take note. I know you're listening.
Yeah, right. If I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just feel like I need to cry, but like there's like a stopper or something, I'll like open my mouth and just go like, just like make noises, just like whatever noises want to come out, just like,
and eventually, yeah, it just comes.
And then it's just like, but I'll also be thinking about like things that are making me sad or upset, and then I'll just like, but I think the best way is finding songs that make you cry.
Oh.
And then just playing them.
Huh.
On repeat.
And
singing to them.
Oh.
That's how I do it. Singing is a good way to cry. Dancing is a good way to cry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, if you dance in such a way that you're like just in tune with your body, rather than trying to look good or do the moves good, then for me, that's a good way to get in touch with my emotions and cry it out. Or singing, or watching commercials that shouldn't be heartfelt, but for some reason they are. Or
I had those for a little while. Remember? Mine with the baby.
With the baby?
It was a baby and a dog.
Oh, yeah.
And they were afraid of the dog, but they really liked the stuffed lion toy.
Yeah.
So they just put a mane on the dog.
Yeah.
And the baby was like, oh, yeah, I like this dog now.
Yeah, it's like...
Because I felt so bad for the dog.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, oh, yeah, you get pets by the baby because you just got to wear the mane. That used to almost get me to cry.
Almost.
Yeah.
What about the ending to that movie? That movie Life, yeah, where they're in prison, but they're still besties at the end of it or whatever.
Yeah, it was Eddie Murphy and, oh, god damn it. What was his name? The guy from Blue Streak.
I don't know what Blue Streak is.
He's the cop. Oh, man. Oh, fucking Martin Lawrence.
Oh, okay, see, I was thinking it was Martin Lawrence, but then you said Blue Streak and not the show Martin? And I'm like, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. The fuck is Blue Streak? Big Mama's House, Martin.
Oh, I forgot he was Big Mama's
you
House.
Say Blue Streak. Whatever the fuck Blue Streak is. Not even Bad Boys.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
All these huge movies.
In my head, I got it confused with, I got Bad Boys confused with Rush Hour.
Oh.
Another fucking buddy movie, and I was like, well, that's not it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, Bad Boys. Yeah, Martin Lawrence. It's Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, and they were in jail for a really long time. And then at the end of the movie, they're old men, and they're at this ball game, something they said they always wanted to do together. And they're just enjoying their freedom and still being friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got choked up at this fucking comedy.
Something that gets me almost every time are queer marriage proposals.
Oh, God.
Those will show up, and I'll just be like, oh no.
Yeah,
I'll be scrolling, and it'll just all of a sudden just be like...
Not straight ones, though.
Rarely will a straight one get me.
No.
They have to be weirdos.
Yeah.
At very least. Like, if they're just like some basic Christian couple, no.
Oh, God, no. Fuck no.
It looks so rehearsed.
Yeah.
And, like, expected.
The big productions don't get me.
No, yeah. I love the ones where they're, like, out in front of an amusement park.
Yeah!
And
I was thinking the same thing. You're at Disneyland.
You're at Disneyland, and and they're trying to do a bit, right? They're, like, both cosplaying or something.
Oh, God.
And one of the people will be like, oh, like, the one about to do the proposing will be like, okay, get into that pose we talked about, and it'll be them turned away. And then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna get on my knee, and then they turn around and they're like, ah! And I'm like, ah, it's so wholesome. And then it's just like, and I think it hits harder because gay marriage is still a fucking point of contention.
That's exactly it.
And just like, so many queer couples don't even like think of that as an option, or they don't think of it as a marriage is such a Christian straight thing, and that kind of proposal is such a Christian straight thing that like when queer people do it, it is unexpected because it's like sort of why would they?
Yeah.
But then again, why wouldn't they?
Why not? Yeah.
There are Christian queer people.
Mm-hmm.
And there are fucking people who want to enjoy the socially stereotyped tradition of a wedding or marriage and proposals and stuff like that without having to be all of that other shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think at this point it's much bigger than just some Christian tradition.
Yeah.
And you can still do like I want us to do something like that. And by us, I mean it'll probably be me because I'm that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Do some little gay thing because like I've technically proposed to you.
Yeah.
But it was because you gave me a nice pen. And I was like, will you marry me? Will you, like, be with me forever? And you were like, oh, yeah. And so we're engaged forever, technically.
Yeah.
But I would like to do some bigger, gayer thing.
Of course.
To be like, hey, Gotcha. But I also don't want to make you feel weird, so I have to think about it for like a long time.
I mean, I would say yes anyway. So.
Well, yeah, but I don't want you to feel like, whoa, what is this? I'm confused. I don't like being confused.
Yeah,
I want it to be very clear and fun.
Yeah.
But also a statement. Because, I like to like write you poems and shit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel like that would be sort of cute. And we can be Mothula.
Mothula. Yep. Bringing it back around full circle.
Or Nebulous.
I like that too.
I think I like Mothula a little better. It's
Yeah.
more goth.
Yeah.
Mothula.
Ooh.
What does that sound?
Ooh. I don't know.
That's what our cryptid would sound like.
Ooh.
Would sound like a creature from Fraggle Rock.
I was gonna say like Pokemon when it just like pops out and it makes a noise.
Aw. Okay, if there are any artists, draw what Pokemon Mothula would look like.
Yeah.
Even if you're not an artist.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I want to see any representation you have.
And this is a good indicator about how long people listen. If y'all made it to the end of the episode and we fucking start getting animations and drawings of what Mothula looks like, that would be a pretty big indication, a pretty big tell.
And if it's just a moth with fangs, I will scream because that sounds adorable.
Yeah. So I'd appreciate it on two fronts. They'd get that and that you actually stuck around. But until next time, for Own Detox, which may be sooner than later, we'll leave you with this.
Do we have the Paul Anka, E-Rock?
Yeah. And ask Bob if he wants to discuss why he's wearing Steve Irwin's shirt.
Wow, what a wreck. Holy shit, what a pile up.